is your name?
Sing it twice, Yahweh.
Yeah, you gotta sing that part twice. When you sing the Yahweh, you gotta sing it twice, okay? Joanna, can you do it for him to follow? Yahweh. There will be no other God before you. No one nowhere. No one nowhere. Where's the police?
It's back there.
Oh, you see the police on the right?
Yeah.
Good. I didn't even see the police. Good job. Good observation skills, Joanna.
I saw it first. Me too.
You did great, okay? So, should I go on 406 North or 406 South? We're going to Toronto. Which one do we take? 406 North. Smart girl. You got it, okay?
We're not going to the airport. We are.
We are actually going to the airport, Jenny. That's where we're going, okay? Good.
Daddy, and earlier we were going on the airport. We can use the GPS.
Exactly. When you finish, can't you finish manger? Then I give you the GPS, okay? So you can guide me, okay? All right. Johanna, can you speak a little bit louder? If you got food in your mouth, make sure you finish swallowing it before you talk, okay?
Gonna do like this.
Is it gonna do like what?
This.
Like what?
This.
What do you mean by like this, buddy?
What we were just doing now.
Like the curve, the sharp curve like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, there is a slight curve, not really a sharp curve. From the airport when you are hopping back on.
Did we go up there?
Can we do what?
Did we go up there?
Mm-hmm.
We go up there.
Can somebody tell me what's going on here right now? Joanna, what's going on?
I think there's construction.
You think there's construction, right?
But there's traffic.
There's traffic too, that's correct. So what do you think is the cause of the traffic?
Construction.
The construction, right?
Yeah.
The sign, there is a sign on the right hand side pointing and flashing. What does it mean?
Guys, I saw the airplane at my school.
You saw the airplane at your school?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the go on another one at the sky. Another one at the sky. I was for going to the left.
One person at a time. Guys, remember, when one person is talking, you don't have to cut them off, okay? Joanna, you just cut your brother off. That's not good, okay? Let him finish, okay?
Daddy, I saw the airplane at my school.
You saw the airplane at your school?
Two airplanes right here. Two airplanes right here.
Can you speak a little bit louder, buddy?
Daddy, there's two airplanes right here. Two airplanes right here.
You saw two airplanes?
Yes.
What was it? Was that when you were playing in the backyard?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And were you excited when you saw the airplanes?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are going to the airport where you get to see more airplanes, okay? You get to see more airplanes at the airport.
Are we going to see a white one?
I actually don't know what colors they're going to be, but there is a good chance you're going to see a couple of white ones and maybe white and red.
And pink?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen a pink airplane in a long while.
White? I saw the pink airplane in the wild. Oh, to the grass?
Oh, okay.
Oh, to that one? When me and Kiddo were on the bus.
One person at a time. Remember, Johnny, when your sister is talking, you gotta yield the time to her to speak, okay? But I'm listening to one person at a time. I cannot listen to the two of you at the same time, okay? Always remember, when one person is talking, you gotta let them finish, okay? Hey, over there, look on the right-hand side where there is a road. What do you see?
A bus.
A bus. And I also see somebody on the far right-hand side. Who is that?
I think it's a monster truck.
Is it a monster truck, four-wheeler, or a motorbike? Which one is it?
Forward.
Four-wheeler? Okay.
Who's that?
I have no idea who it is. But
Daddy, I
Yeah.
saw the bus.
you saw the bus on the left-hand side? That's good. That's a school bus.
Isn't that you, Jay?
Yes. Yes. Hello, people. Welcome to Choco. I am live on your dial. It's been a long time I did a live vlog like this driving, isn't it? But I am here on your dial. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are. If today's your first time, yeah, Dal is sick. That's why she didn't come to work today. A bus driver, right? So somebody else picked you up today because your bus driver is sick. I hope she feels better tomorrow. Ademe c'est
Vendredi.
aujourd'hui c'est
Jeudi.
oui.
Après jeudi, c'est vendredi.
On va nager aujourd'hui?
Oui.
À quel temps? What time? À quel temps?
I don't know.
We go there at 7 something, 7:15. Yeah. We. Welcome to Choco Millionaire. We are currently driving on the highway. There is traffic because there is road works or construction. One lane has been closed, which is slowing down the traffic. It's been closed for almost like a month now. I have no idea what exactly they've been doing, but hey, we trust that they're doing something. And I'm on my way to Toronto, Pearson Airport, technically Mississauga. But we're used to calling it Toronto Airport. So I'm on my way to the airport to go pick somebody up. The person is coming from Africa.
Who are you picking?
I want you guys to guess who we are picking up.
Uncles?
He's an uncle from Africa. Can you guess?
No.
The person is not in Canada, they are in Africa. Alright, when we get there, you're gonna see uncle, okay? Are you guys excited to go to the airport?
It's Uncle Jesse.
No.
Who?
A different uncle.
The uncle who came the person who was sleeping in my room?
That is Uncle Ian. He is already in Canada. He's from...
Ghana.
No, he's not from Ghana. He's from Kenya. All right. So okay, I'm not gonna tell you the name of the person. You're gonna guess it for a while, and then when we get to the airport, you see the person. Okay?
It's Kenya.
It's not Kenya. It's not Kenya. It's from Ghana. Somebody from Ghana.
Hey.
I'm not gonna tell you the name. Okay? No. It's an uncle. It's not a grandma. It's not an auntie too. All right, traffic is clear. We are good to go.
Hey, I saw the water.
You saw the water? Yeah, that was Gibson Lake, okay? Just around the Beaver Dam. Did I tell you guys about beavers in Canada?
We watched it.
We watched a video on beavers.
Yeah.
What do you remember? What do you remember about beavers?
Daddy.
Yes.
Sometimes they are evil of you.
Johnny, your sister is talking.
And
Yeah, you said sometimes beavers are what?
Cute.
They are what?
Cute.
Cute or cute? Is that what you say? What word is that?
Cute.
Cute? What's that?
Dead.
They are there?
Dead.
Oh, dead. You mean killed? Oh, okay. Yeah, sometimes they die. That's true. The animals eat them. All right. I'm not. So, do you know that beavers are like they are the official national symbol of Canada? They are like the symbol of Canada, the national symbol of Canada. Yeah. The food is ready for me.
Yes.
Oh, I see. How many breaded chickens do you have in there?
2.
Okay, I need you to finish it first. Okay, you need it more. So finish the breaded chicken. Okay. Good. What does it say on the board?
Glendale Avenue.
That's correct, Glendale Avenue. And Forces North. That's correct. And there is a shopping mall. You remember most of the things, not everything exactly, but most of them. Okay. Yes. Only one person knows everything. Who is that? Jesus. Good. Does your daddy know everything? No, you're right. I don't know everything. Does your mommy know everything? Does John Henry know everything? All right. Only Jesus knows everything, right? Good.
Sometimes I know everything.
No, you never will know everything. Remember that, okay?
Sometimes.
No, you can know some things or a lot of things, but you will not be able to know everything, okay? No human being knows everything. That's why your daddy doesn't know everything, okay? Okay? Yeah, that's true. You cannot know everything, okay? Yes. Okay, can I ask you some questions to see if you can remember? Okay. When you were born, what was your weight? Do you remember your weight when you were born?
Little.
You don't remember?
Little.
Do you remember your length? The length, your body length when you were born? Okay. When you were 4 months old, we went to visit a grandma in St. Catharines. Do you remember her name?
No.
You don't remember? Huh? You don't remember? On New Year's Eve, we went to Niagara Falls at night on New Year's Eve. Do you remember all the people that went with us? Do you remember? Yes or no? Okay, so you see, that is why I say you cannot know everything. Do you remember what I said? You cannot know everything, okay? Sometimes you can know, but you forget. Oh, there is a bus ahead of me. It's called Flix Bus. Flix Bus. The Flix Bus leaves Toronto and goes all the way to New York, the city of New York, and then it comes back to Toronto. So guys, if we decide to if we decide to use the bus, to New York, we could use the Flix Bus, okay? They go all the way to New York, and then they come all the way to Toronto. The green bus ahead of us. John Henry, are you watching it?
Daddy.
Yes, buddy. You're talking to me? Okay, I'm. Put the ketchup in there, okay?
I need water. I am full, Daddy.
You need water?
Yeah.
Okay, Johnny, can I have that? You are full too?
Yes.
Everybody is full. John Henry, didn't you eat your chicken though? You left 2 breaded chicken and did anybody see the Drapeau Canadien on the left?
That's it.
Ah,
Yes.
that's the Canadian flag on the left. You see it, right? Can we sing it? Okay, we gotta sing it in French. We gotta sing it in French. Can we sing it? Okay. Okay, let's start. Can we start? Can we start together? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, go. Knows I am. Ton front, ton front descend. Good. Catabrase. Can you sing it louder? Ton histoire est une épopée. Et la valeur. Oui, that's a flizba. Protégera. Bien. Good job, okay?
I don't want it.
You don't want what? Your breaded chicken?
The chicken.
You don't want the chicken? So you want me to have it?
I am
You're full?
Yes.
Okay. Are you thankful for your meal?
Yes.
You know there are some kids who don't get food to eat, right?
Yes.
So are you thankful you had a meal?
Yes.
I see.
Sometimes my school teacher now.
Johnny, can you speak a little bit louder? I need you to speak it just a little bit. Yes. You eat yummy food at school? Oh, that's good. We have just jumped onto a different highway. Does anybody? QW Toronto, right? There is a bus in the first lane on the right. Can anybody tell me the name of the bus? Can anybody tell me the name of this bus? This one. That's a go bus. There are people, it's a double decker. There are people on top, right? Good. Exactly. Yeah, there was construction, right?
But this time it's gonna be traffic ahead.
Yeah, there could be traffic ahead. Somebody say, I am at Pearson Airport. I would love to meet you. That's from Memudu. Becca Samuel. Alright, that will not be bad. I will be at Terminal 3. Probably in an hour from now, I should be at Terminal 3. Barring any traffic, I'll be at Terminal 3 to pick somebody up. So, yeah, if you happen to be there, I'll be happy to see you. What's that? Want me to give you the GPS? Okay, I'm gonna give you the GPS. She wants me to give her the phone so she can stay and monitor the GPS. I like giving her the phone at least for the GPS. It helps her to learn the directions, the map, get used to it. So I'm more than happy to give it to her. And sometimes she is able to give me an update on things on the road. She will look at it on the map and she'll tell me. I don't like driving with a GPS. So sometimes I'm not able to tell if there is a situation ahead. But if I give the phone to my daughter, she's able to look at it and tell me that, hey, Daddy, this is happening. Your water bottle, did you put it At the right place?
No.
You fell down?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good, huh? Okay, I got it for you, okay?
That
There you go.
You got the rocks and the waters.
Hey, look at the Jeep on the right. What is he doing?
He's speeding.
He's speeding.
Daddy, we're going on 407.
No, I don't want to use a 407. The 407 is an express toll route ETR. If you use it, you're gonna have to pay a little bit of money, probably around $17 for using that. So unfortunately, I'm gonna avoid the 407 today, okay? When we get there, it's gonna tell me to go on the 407, but I won't use that. I'll use QW 403, okay? Okay? Yes, okay? But I don't want to pay money to use the 407. When you use the 407, you gotta pay money for it, okay? So I will not use that one, okay? Alright, it's an express highway. Huh? What's that? I'm using exit number what?
100.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Yes. You did what? Mm-hmm. Alisco Alhaz, I sent you a message, but you didn't reply. Please kindly respond because it's very important. Alisco, please check the pin message on my channel. I do not receive emails. I don't have the capacity to do that. I'm just too busy. I've said it many times. Do not waste your time sending me a long email. If your question cannot be posted in a public comment as you're watching the video, you probably need to be speaking to a professional, okay? So no disrespect, I am just not able to be taking public messages via emails or stuff, okay? I've said this many times. I want to make sure you're on the same page. Yeah. The demand to privately chat me is incredibly overwhelming. And I'm not able. I tried it in the past. It wasn't helpful. It's not good for my mental health. Yeah. Rolando, Daddy is teaching cost benefit. Yeah, analysis. You're right. Yeah. So the GPS she's using has opted for me to use the 407, which is an express toll route, also a highway by the way, but just that you got to pay when you drive on that, and there's no way I'm going to use that unless by mistake, which I've done in the past, but I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to avoid it. Because you got to pay money to use that highway, and I don't want to use it, okay? We can save the money and use it to buy something else, okay? We're going to use a free one, okay? We're going to use a free highway, okay? Which is 403 and QW, okay? Alright, thank you for your understanding.
This Waze.
Yeah, you're using Waze.
Waze on in a different phone too.
Yeah, I put it on my other phone. That's a iPhone 14 Pro Max, but it's also on the 13 Pro Max, okay? The black Hyundai is flying. What model of Hyundai is that? It's just like Uncle Daston's car. The same thing, actually. I think he's gonna switch lane to come on the left-hand side. We don't say 100 exit, we say exit number 100, okay? Okay? Exit number 100, that's what you mean? So it's exit number 100. So I think the traffic is beginning to slow from here. Hey, look at that black van on the right hand side. What van is that? What kind of Honda is that though? I'm not sure. Can you tell me if you're sure? Which one do you think it is? It is an Odyssey?
Yeah.
That's correct. I wanted to be sure you know. And which city are we at right now? Did anybody see the city on the board, on the destination board? You said the city? What city are we at?
Lincoln.
No, we are not in Lincoln. We went past Lincoln. No, we are not yet in Toronto. We are a little bit more far. Sometimes if you look at the landscape, you can remember where we are. Or if you look on the destination board again, there are all kinds of boards on the right. Maybe it can help you. Look at that one. You're right. We're in Greensby. Do you know your daddy used to work here when he was a student?
Yeah.
I used to work here in Greensby. There was, I'm not sure if the company is still there, maybe it's still there. There's a company there called Westbrook. They used to make all kinds of flowers for Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, Christmas, all kinds of flowers. They supply them to big companies like Walmart. So I used to work there when I was a student. And guess what I used to do? I used to clean the plants and put them in the pot and make sure there is enough soil. And sometimes I give it a little bit of water and I put it on the line. That's the work I used to do there. What's that?
The flower's not even growing.
Oh, the ones at home?
No, mine.
Yours? Because we are not taking good care of your flowers. That's why they are not growing, okay? We gotta give you water every day, right? Yes. Sorry about yours, okay?
But I keep putting water, so I keep going inside and try to get water. And you keep going inside, but we try to get a cup and go inside and get some water from the bathroom.
I know. What exit is coming up? Johnny, can anybody tell me the exit coming up? Nobody saw it. Huh? I was gonna give you guys something if you said it. Nobody said it, so I'm gonna keep my garbage to myself. That's not fair. Okay. We are still in Greensby. The traffic is not doing bad at all. People are driving at 130 kilometers, which is still okay. What's the name of what? Yes. That was Maple Avenue, I believe, and Christie Street, and also Ontario Street. Those were the exits. You didn't say it. I said it.
That's not fair.
All right. So this is all gonna happen. Okay, somebody should tell me the ones coming up. Buddy, look at the black car on the right in the first lane. What car is that? That's a what? That's a Tesla.
Casablanca.
This is Casablanca. Casablanca what? Boulevard. That's correct. Somebody is asking James Unoha, is that 401 East? Unfortunately, no, this is not 401 East. Joanna, can you tell the name of this highway we're driving on? What is it called? What's the name of this highway, Johnny? What's the name of this highway we're driving on? QEW, Queen Elizabeth Highway. That's it, QEW. So we're on the QEW. You saw the Canadian flag?
Yeah.
Okay. Where is it? On the left or on the right? On the left, you're right. And I see a bunch of dealerships too. Can somebody tell me the dealerships? Kia and what?
Ford.
And Ford, that's correct.
Not Ford.
And there are some restaurants on the restaurant board.
There is a car called Kia Ford.
No, I haven't seen a car called Kia Ford. There's no car like that.
Sometimes.
Kia is a different company, and Ford is also a different company. Okay. Look on the destination board. Where are we getting to right now?
Hamilton.
And what else does it say under it?
Population.
And what's the population? Did you see that one?
What population?
570,000. 570,000. Somebody is driving on the far left side along us. I taught you the name of that street along the KW. Do you remember the name? It's called the Service Road. Service Road, okay? It's also a highway. It's about 80 kilometers. It's along the KW. So you can choose to drive on that if you don't want to drive on this one. But the speed limit on that one is a little bit lower, right? It's 80 kilometers on that one. But this one we're driving on is 110 kilometers. Look, at the back of this truck, something is written at the top right. Foxway, Fox and Way. Yes, so welcome to Choco Millionaire. If you're watching, I'm on my way to the airport to pick somebody up. If you happen to be around that area, maybe we may run into each other. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in. It's been a long time I did a live vlog like this driving. Happy to do this. I have my kids with me. We're going together just because there's nobody home to drop them off, so I had to come with them. So I picked them from school 20 minutes before their time. Okay, 20 minutes before Joanna's time, and John Henry about 2 hours before his closing time. He closes at 5:30. Joanna gets off around 3:45. So I pick all of them up. And then they've had their lunch. I prepared lunch for them. So, hey, Jonah, how are things looking on the GPS? What is it saying? Are there police? Are there cops on the road? Is there traffic ahead, or everything is okay? You sure? Okay, you gotta let me know if there is an incident. Okay. All right. How many kilometers to the next exit? How many kilometers does it say at the top to the next exit? Did you say 20? Sorry, can you speak louder? What did you say? 20 kilometers? Oh, okay. Look, what's on there? But we are not using the airport on the 403 here, okay? We are not using the Hamilton airport. We're going to the Mississauga, Toronto one, okay? Where are we right now? Right now, where are we at? We are in Stony Creek. traffic is flowing pretty good. It's not too bad. At least everybody is doing between 110 120 kilometers. That's not bad at all.
Are we late?
No, yeah, we're a little bit late. So the person is actually waiting for me. He's already landed. I told him I was gonna be a little bit late because I had to pick you guys up from school, right? Yes. Plus I had to give you the lunch as well, so it took a bit of time. And then I had to pump the gas too. So that took a bit of time. So look, on the right, it says something on the right. Hamilton International Airport. And what does it say on the board then, the traffic display board? What does it say?
8 minutes to North Shore, 15 minutes to Appleby.
Good job. 8 minutes to North Shore, 15 minutes to Appleby. You didn't see the third one, right?
What's that?
There was another one underneath. You didn't see it.
What is that?
To be honest, I didn't see it too. So we get to go, okay? I did too. I'm being honest with you, I didn't see it. I'm being honest with you.
That's not fair.
I did not see it. Look, it looks like there is traffic when you're returning. Do you see the traffic build up? Look on the opposite side, the oncoming vehicles. There's traffic, right? So maybe when we are coming back, we are not going to use this highway. We might just use the service road or the backside, right?
I think the service.
We can use the service road or we can use the backside. If we're going to use the backside, which highway do we have to use to get back home? If we're going to use the backside.
I want to use the service one.
Okay, we'll use the service road, okay?
Is it too close?
What's that?
Is it too close?
No, actually a lot of cars, not just 2 cars, buddy. Hey, what is it is coming up?
Nikola Tesla Boulevard.
Nikola Tesla Boulevard. Something is written at the back of this track. M-O-R. Can somebody see? What is that? No, remember there are 2 consonants. You gotta split them. It helps you to pronounce it easily, okay? 11 minutes to Guelph line, 14 minutes to Burlook, 12 minutes to Dorval. So it says 12 minutes to Dorval. Right? So you gotta split them so that you can pronounce. That's Morrison. Look at the traffic, guys. Traffic is pretty bad when you're coming back. Morrison. Yes. Now look, even on the service road, it's slow, so I'm not gonna use it when I'm coming back. We're probably gonna go on the 403. Right? We're gonna go on the 403. The traffic is bad. Look at it, it's not flowing.
No, the one on Guelph line.
Yeah, so that is a 403, okay? Alright. And then we exit at Alexander Lincoln Parkway, correct? Good.
That's why I want to go to the service road where Guelph line is.
Yes, that's the one we're gonna use, okay? So actually that is a 403, okay? It's 403 West. Look on the board on the right, something is written on there. African Lion Safari. What about this one, Chia? Burlington. What is it saying on the display board there?
9 minutes to Walker's line, 44. And other line
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
that one?
Eastport Drive is coming up. Eastport Drive.
Sometimes you go on that road.
Sometimes we go on there, right? If we want to beat the traffic, right? Yeah. We are about to go on the drum roll. Can somebody say it? We're going on top of the Skyway. What is under the Skyway?
Water.
And what is the name of the water?
Lake Ontario.
Lake Ontario. It's very big, right? Good. All the way from Niagara, right? Good. It's big. Lake Ontario. We're on top of the Skyway right now. Somebody is asking, Father Abraham, Canada to get traffic. Yes, so there's traffic everywhere in the world. Probably except in Saudi Arabia, where I'm told the road network is impressive. Dr. Roxanne, who lived in Saudi Arabia before, said, oh my goodness, their road network is really, really good. So yeah, Father Abraham, as soon as he said it, I'm running into the traffic. It looks like. So there's the traffic. That's Lake Ontario on the right hand side. That's a black Tesla. Do you see that?
I saw a black Tesla before.
Yes. This red. Oh, I was gonna say he was gonna switch lane to come in front of me. What car is that though? The red one. I'm trying to see the model. I cannot see it well. I gotta get closer. That is an Infinity. That's a Santa Fe, huh? It's a Hyundai Santa Fe. Santa Fe. Buddy, look at the big building on the right hand side with the H on it. What building is that? When you see a big building with an H on it, like that.
I know.
You know, okay, can you help us?
Hospital.
Look, something is written at the back of this truck, at the top right. What is that? Can you see it?
What?
South Simcoe. Do you remember Simcoe?
Yeah.
That's what is written at the back, South Simcoe. Maybe the truck is from Simcoe. Maybe. Huh?
Warning.
Where's the warning? You see warning on the GPS?
No. One.
Okay, so
When
Joanna.
the car comes to a truck and the truck has an estimate, that's warning.
That's warning, okay. So Joanna, okay, the 407 is coming up on the right hand side. You see? It says 1 kilometer, the 407 is gonna come up on the right, but I'm not gonna use it like I told you. Because we gotta pay for using that, right? Yeah, so look at it, it's coming up on the right hand side. Are you gonna pay for me? Are you gonna pay for daddy? That's exit 100, as you said. That's exit number 100. But that, okay, I'm not gonna use it. Can you tell the GPS to change to something else? I'm gonna use QW43. I'm not gonna use the 407, okay? We gotta pay for go that. That's a 407 on the right hand side where the red cars have exited. It's actually two different highways there, 407 and then 403 west. But I am not using it. Whoa, the traffic is really bad when you're coming back. If you look at the opposite side, you notice they are barely moving, huh? That's how bad it is. And actually the reason is because they are doing construction on the Skyway. They are fixing, I don't know if they are.
They actually take 12 now.
Huh?
They actually take 12
Guelph line, right? Okay.
Are you taking Guelph?
No, we're going to Toronto, so we're going straight, okay? Okay? Guelph line is the one coming up. The exit coming up, but I'm not going to take that. Yes, from Niagara to the airport is quite a drive. It's about an hour and maybe 15 minutes. From my house to Toronto itself is about an hour and 30 minutes or 25 minutes. So if there's no traffic, that's as if there's no traffic. If there's traffic. But right now, so far so good. I have done probably what? Maybe 55 or 60% of the journey so far. And it's looking good. Okay guys, should I use a HOV lane or I shouldn't use a HOV lane? You Henry? Should I use a HOV lane or I shouldn't use a HOV lane? Should I use it? Does anybody know what the HOV lane stands for?
When there is one person, you cannot go in that lane.
Can you speak a little bit louder?
When there is one person, you cannot go in that lane.
Okay, so when it's only the driver in the car, you cannot drive in this lane, right? Okay, so how many people? Only how many people? Actually 2 or more. It's not 2 or 4, it's 2 or more, okay? So we are currently driving on the HOV line, okay? How will you be able to tell if you're in the HOV line? Is there a symbol or a sign you can use to tell? Does he have any sign that can help you to know? The diamond shape, right? It has a diamond shape drawing on the floor, on the lane, so that helps you. Yes, you see, our lane is moving faster now. So right now I'm driving in the HOV lane, high occupancy vehicle. That's what it stands for. This lane is designed for cars that have 2 or more individuals in it. If you are just the driver by yourself in a car with no other passenger, you cannot drive in this lane. So I think there are some exceptions. It looks, if I'm not too sure about it, you can correct me if you know. I think electric vehicles are also allowed to drive in this lane. I'm not too sure. Like electric vehicles. Otherwise, this lane has been reserved for people who do a lot of carpooling or carry a lot of passengers. So you can clearly tell that we are moving way faster than the remaining 4 lanes on the right hand side, isn't it? Actually the remaining 4 lanes. You can tell we are moving faster, right? Yes. So I think it's a nice concept. I've talked about this before. Maybe at some point in my country, Ghana, we can try it. Imagine expanding our road network from Adenta to Accra and then creating a priority lane for private cars or cars that carry 2 or more, 3 or more people. I think it's a nice concept to encourage people to drive in numbers, like as a couple. If I had 4 adults in this car, everybody could drive their own car and cause more traffic, right? But once you have a car that carries a lot of people, you want to reward them and encourage them by giving them a dedicated lane in places where the traffic is more thicker. So I think that's the concept behind it. It is also fair to assume that majority of the people driving on the other lanes on the right hand side are just drivers in a car. That means more traffic, isn't it? I just look at the car on the right, it's a woman driving and she's just by herself. I just look at the white car on the far right lane as well. That's just the woman in there. But assuming it's a family or friends, carpooling, saving the road, the traffic, then they get rewarded with this lane. Sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't work great. As you can see right now, I'm also beginning to run into the traffic. Otherwise, most of the time, you tend to be a little bit more advantaged or privileged to go faster than all the other lanes. That is the HOV lane. If you happen to be in Ontario as a newcomer and you are preparing to do your G1 knowledge road test, the knowledge test, you likely come across this as a question potentially in your G1 material or your test. They could ask you what the meaning of the HOV lane is. They could even show you a symbol of it and ask you what it means, and they expect you to know. I remember the first time I ever found myself here in this lane. That was in 2015. There was a Nigerian lady who happened to be my friend at that time. Lovely. Loveland was relocating from St. Catharines she was relocating from Niagara to Toronto, so she needed a ride. And then somebody gave her a ride, a mutual friend gave her a ride. The guy is from Haiti, okay? Gave her a ride, so I decided to join her so we can help her pack her things. And then I wanted to also go and see Toronto because I was fairly new at that time in Canada. So we're in the car, and this guy was driving this beautiful Nissan Altima. And the Haitian guy, sorry. So when we entered into this lane, I asked him, what is the meaning of this lane? I can see it's a little bit different from the other lanes. He has a drawing on it. What does it mean? And the guy gave me this answer. He said, this lane is for people who drive like newer cars or nicer cars. A part of me believed it. And then after believing it, within some few seconds or minutes, I realized that there were some cars driving here that are not nice. And there were nicer cars that were also in the extreme right lanes. So my brain just started telling me, maybe this guy is not telling me the right thing. I later found out that this lane is not for cars that are nice. It's for cars that have 2 or more passengers. Or electric vehicles. I think I just saw the sign that says green vehicles permitted, which is electric cars, right? So if you're driving an electric car, you could potentially also be in this lane. We are currently around 3rd line exit. Our next exit is going to be Dorval. Hey, look at this track. What track is that? That's Food Basics. Okay, so my daughter is sleeping right now. You're going to see her quiet. I just checked she's sleeping. That's good. She's napping. My son, his eyes are wide open. And he's just viewing everything on the road. He's observing everything. He doesn't talk much, so he's probably going to be quiet most of the time. My daughter talks more like me. Yeah, so that is the HOV lane. And if you guys also recall, last year in August, I mistakenly drove in this very lane whilst it was just me in the car with no other passengers. And I got pulled over by the police. That was on a live broadcast I was doing, so you guys actually saw it live. Those of you remember. And they gave me a ticket for how much? $325 for driving in the HOV lane. And then there was a second problem I had. My driver's license had expired about a week before or prior, and I forgot to renew it online. My wife had told me to renew it a few days before my birthday, but I didn't. For some reason, the expiry date of my license was tied or linked to my birthday, and my wife told me to renew it online. She actually reminded me because she knows I'll forget. And I said I would do it, but hey, I never prioritized it, and then I forgot. So on the day when the police pulled me over for driving in this lane, and then she asked me for my driver's license, and I gave it to her, and she came back and said, it looks like you are in for another trouble. I said, okay, what do you mean? So then she said, it looks like you just had your birthday, yeah? And I said, yes, that's true. The moment she said it, then I remembered my wife, and I said, oh my goodness, I have been flagged for driving with an expired license. Yeah, so I got a ticket for that one too. So that made it 2 different tickets. Driving with an expired license was $100 and something in fine. And then driving in the HOV lane illegally as just a driver without a passenger was $325. So altogether that was about $400 and something in driving ticket just for one offense leading to another exposure. And I learned from it. So as much as this is just a driving, and I'm just also educating you, I myself, I was forgetful of myself. And I think that day it was because the video I was doing, I said I was on a live broadcast. I was broadcasting live as I'm doing right now, and I was driving. But I think the video I was doing was on leadership or African issues. And sometimes when I talk about African issues, I get a little bit more emotional or passionate or sensitive. So whilst I was talking about it, I think I just forgot myself, and then I entered into the HOV lane. Now, when I entered into the HOV lane, it did not even take me 1 kilometer to be pulled over. In less than a kilometer, I was pulled over. And I was just like, the moment I looked into my rearview mirror and I saw the police behind me flashing, I knew that was for me. Whoa! So I pulled over on the left-hand side, which is the lane, the extra lane. Oh, I just heard a sound. Was that a gunshot or something? I just heard a loud boom. I don't know what it was, or somebody's tire exploded. I don't know. So I pulled over into the emergency lane on the left, which is the lane in between the wall and the yellow line on the left-hand side you're seeing right now. That's the emergency lane. So if the police is pulling you over and you are in the left lane as I'm driving, that is the ideal safe lane to move into. But if you have any other emergency, you could easily pull into that lane. So I pulled over there, and then she gave me the ticket. Yeah, I tried showing the police officer a past video that I have even done on the HOV lane, educating people about it, trying to let them know it wasn't intentional, that I just happened to be oblivious or forgetful for a brief moment, and I entered into it as I was just by myself. She smiled at me and still wrote me the ticket, and she said, well, once she's pulled me over, she has to do her job. I said, all right, that's okay. She wrote me the ticket. I'll never forget. And that day I was actually going to the airport to also pick somebody up. Man, so yeah. So that's my small thing with HOV lane. And I think that day I may have also been deceived by the fact that I did not have Dr. Roxanne with me. Around that time last year, Dr. Roxanne was with us. And most of the time when I was going to Toronto to do my pickups or picking up new students or newcomers, I was mostly going with Dr. Roxanne. He was sitting at the front. So I think I may have just forgot that he was not with me that day and it was just me. And I just was excited and talking about the video, African-related issues, leadership issues, corruption in Africa, and then I fell into that one. You see, so HOV lane, don't forget it. High occupancy vehicle lane. It is what it is. Alright, if today is your first time watching, you're welcome to Choco Billionaire. Let me know where you're watching from, what country you are watching from. This is a driving vlog. I have been driving for the last, maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes? Oh, sorry, the last 1 hour, maybe 10 minutes? Yeah, technically 1 hour, 10 minutes. I've been driving for the last 1 hour, 10 minutes. From Niagara, and I'm currently in Oakville, approaching Mississauga. I probably am about 15 minutes away from the airport, or maybe max 20 minutes. There's a little bit of traffic because right now I'm doing 100 kilometers instead of 110 kilometers. So that's still not too bad, isn't it? But if you watch it, it feels like it's slow. It's actually 100 kilometers that I'm doing right now. Somebody said the journey is far. Yeah, Canada is big, so it depends on where you're going. Within the province of Ontario alone, if you are driving from Niagara, which is the southernmost part of Ontario, bordering the state of New York, and you are heading towards the far end, towards probably the north, heading towards Quebec, you could be in between 6.5 to 8 hour drive. If there's no traffic, maybe 6.5 to 7 hours from Niagara. If there is traffic, you could be looking at 8 hours to 8.5 hours alone. So just look at it. That's from one part, the south, to just another part. And mind you, that is not even the furthest point from the southern part of Ontario. There are places that are really far, like it will take you 7 hours, 8 hours. Will probably Thunder Bay. Some of you are in the northern part of Ontario. Let me know. Those places are far. Ontario is so big. For you to get a picture of Ontario, think of it like this. Ontario as a single province in Canada is bigger than the entire country of Nigeria. Now mind you, Nigeria is not a small country. It's super big, with a huge population too, isn't it? And a single province in Canada, which is Ontario, is bigger than Nigeria. So just think of it. Can you think of how many countries in Europe will fit into Ontario? A lot, right? So that's how big Ontario is. Super big. And we do have 6 different time zones as well, meaning that depending on where you are in Canada, your time is different. People have 6 different times or time zones in Canada. I am in Ontario. Ontario and Quebec, we share a common time zone. Majority of us are on the Eastern time zone. Those who are in Yukon, which is one of the 3 territories aside from the 10 provinces in Canada. Remember, Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories, or 3 additional territories. So technically, that's almost about 13 provinces. We don't call the 3 territories provinces, by the way. We just call them territories. On the far western side of Canada, on the map, you have Yukon and British Columbia. Now, those 2 places predominantly use what we call the Pacific time zone. They are 3 hours behind. They are 3 hours behind Ontario and 7 hours behind the UK time. All right. So if you're in UK, you are looking at somebody in British Columbia. That's a difference of 7 hours there. All right. So right now it is what? It is 5 o'clock here. 5:02 in Ontario and Quebec, but it is what, 2 p.m. in British Columbia, in the same country of Canada, and Yukon, right? And then when you move from there, you go to where? You go to Alberta. Yeah, I believe that is Alberta. Alberta is also on a different time zone. Saskatchewan is also on a different time zone. They are also 1 hour apart on a mountain time zone. They are on mountain time zone, so they are 1 hour less, I believe. Yeah, 1 hour. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, 1 hour less. So from yes, 1 hour, and then from there you move to the central part, which is Manitoba. Manitoba is on the central part of our time zone line there. Manitoba is what? An additional 1 hour less than Ontario. And then you come to Ontario and Quebec, we're on the same time zone, majority of us. Even though some parts of Ontario tend to also use the Pacific time zone, and some parts of Quebec also tends to use a bit of the time zone from the Atlantic provinces, such as New Brunswick and what have you. All right, and stuff. So they are on the Pacific time zone. Their time is also different from ours. They will be 1 hour, I'm not too sure, I believe 1 hour ahead of us. Yes, ahead of us in Ontario, I believe so. Let me know if I'm getting this wrong. And then the last time zone beyond the Atlantic time zone is the Newfoundland time zone. Newfoundland. Remember, Newfoundland is just one part of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. But then, okay, so Newfoundland and Labrador is a province made up of 2 different parts. Newfoundland is one part, and then Labrador is another part of Newfoundland and Labrador. However, Labrador uses the Atlantic time zone with New Brunswick and Co. And then Newfoundland uses a completely different time zone. It has its own time zone. Newfoundland is the only part of Canada, or portion of Canada, that has its own time zone. We call it the Newfoundland time zone. So you see, in Canada alone, we have 6 different time zones, depending on where you are, isn't it? Yeah, depending on where you are. Colorado, I believe, will be on the mountain time zone, if I'm not mistaken. New Mexico could be on the same time zone with British Columbia, maybe Pacific, I'm suspecting. So hey, Canada has 6 different time zones. I am from Ghana. We have only one time zone, GMT, right? Because we are just across the equator like that. So Okay, actually, they say the Greenwich Meridian passes through Ghana in Tema, so that is it. We have just one time zone in the whole of Ghana, but here, 6 different time zones. 6 different time zones, depending on where you are. So whilst it is morning time in Ontario, it is lunchtime in Newfoundland, and it is dawn. It is dawn in British Columbia, Vancouver. Yeah. All right, time zone for you. If you're in Canada, let me know where you are and what your time zone is. It will take you a while to learn all of them. It took me a while, trust me. You can tell I still haven't even grasped all of that. I just know there are 6 Pacific, Mountain, Central, Eastern, Atlantic, and then Newfoundland. Yeah. Newfoundland, half of it uses Atlantic. Then the other half, which is, sorry, Newfoundland and Labrador. Labrador uses Atlantic, and then Newfoundland has its own time zone. It doesn't share with any other person. Yeah. And I think they're about 1.5 hours ahead of us. So right now that is 5 o'clock. It's probably 6:30 p.m. in Newfoundland, right? And it's probably 6 p.m. in the Atlantic provinces, Nova Scotia, probably around 6 p.m. now. Somebody is asking, is overtaking another vehicle allowed in Canada? Yes. If the lanes are broken, white lanes like this, you're allowed to safely change lane, you mean? It's change lane. But driving along the shoulders of the road is illegal. You will be given a big ticket. If I look on the board on the right hand side, there is a board on the wall. What does it say? Speed fines doubled in construction. Right now there is a construction going on ahead, which is why there is traffic right now. Ahead of us there is construction. What are they doing? I think they are building a new overpass or interchange there, and they are also probably expanding the highway here. So they have redirected or recreated some new lanes for us to drive in, which has caused the traffic to slow down. They are doing a major highway improvement to some parts of the KW, and another highway called the Gardiner Express, which takes you from Mississauga to Toronto. They have mentioned that they will be improving these highways this year. So you see the orange line, guys. When you see the orange line like this, it means construction. You see that? Now, ideally, the lane that I'm driving in should be on the left-hand side. There are about 2 lanes on my left beyond the combs here. But what they've done is that they have created a new kind of, they have diverted it a bit. If you look on the far left, you can tell that we are way far from the wall, isn't it? Because the highway is actually, the road is actually supposed to be more towards my left-hand side of the wall, but they kind of have just erased the lanes and created like a new set of lanes on the right to allow them to fix the middle portion of the highway without significantly affecting the traffic. So if you look in the middle, beyond the wall, that is where they are actually fixing right now. And right now we are driving along the big wall on the right, which most of the time may not be an area that we normally drive. It could be just a merging lane, but now they've turned this area into a highway lane to allow them to fix the middle portion where the normal highway should have been at. Do you see that? So that's a diversion. We call this a diversion, right? Yeah. So that's a diversion. And the diversion lane is not looking bad at all, aside from the traffic. Yeah, somebody says 3 p.m. in Calgary. That is great. So Calgary is 2 hours behind us. Yeah, so when you move from the West Coast, you begin to lose an hour each as you move to a time zone. For example, Pacific is 3 hours behind Ontario time. So if it's 5, it will be 3 o'clock. If it is 5, it will be 2 o'clock in British Columbia and Yukon, right? And then when you move from British Columbia, you move to another time zone called the Mountain Time Zone, where you have Saskatchewan and an Alberta. So that you will lose an hour, all right? So from a 3-hour difference, it now drops to 2-hour difference. That is how come it is 3 o'clock now in Alberta, and it is 5 o'clock, a time difference of 2, right? So anytime you move from one time zone to the other, you lose an hour. And then from the mountain time zones of Saskatchewan and Alberta, you move to the central time zone of Manitoba and a few other territories there. Then you lose an additional hour again, so it now drops from 2-hour difference to 1 hour. So the time difference between Manitoba and Ontario is just 1 hour. So right now, safe to say it is 4 o'clock or 4:10 p.m. in Manitoba. Now remember, Manitoba, there are some parts of Manitoba that have a different time zone. The central part of Winnipeg uses the central time zone, which means it will be 4 p.m. in central Winnipeg. But if you go to the mountainous part, the mountains areas there in Winnipeg, they use a mountain time zone from Alberta, Saskatchewan. So you see, sometimes in one province, some parts have different time zones. And then from Manitoba, you move to Ontario and Quebec. We have the same time zone. Ontario, Quebec, Eastern time zone, majority of us. And then from Ontario, now you are moving towards the eastern side of Canada. You go to the Atlantic provinces first, Prince Edward Island, Scotia, New Brunswick, and these places have a plus one time zone. So now that it is 5 o'clock here, or a few minutes past 5, it will be 6:10 or 6:15 in the Atlantic provinces. They are 1 hour ahead of us, all right? Nova Scotia, blah, blah, blah. And then you move to Newfoundland, where now that it's 5 o'clock here, it will be 6:30. See? That's it. 6 different time zones. Sorry if it doesn't make sense to you. You will take it serious when you come here. I didn't take it serious until when you move to other provinces and you realize that your body clock will have to adapt, right? Yes. Canada is very big, very, very big. Second largest country in the world. Majority of it is water, by the way. The largest coastline as well in the world, Canada. A majority of the land is filled with water. Alright guys, so we are back to the usual place where the highway lane should have been. As you can tell, we are more closer to the wall in my left hand side as compared to the previous side. You can tell how far we are from the wall on the right hand side. So when they diverted, they move almost all the lanes to the far right hand side, and then they are fixing. So I believe as they progress, that's what they might do in this area. They'll block off all this area, and then they'll move all the lanes, create new lanes toward the far right. Then they kind of squeeze the lanes down a little bit by narrowing them. And then they will be able to fix this. Sometimes you look at a road and the road is not bad, but then they are due for maintenance or repair, so they'll just do it. Like I recently went to Simcoe, and the road that I drove on Highway 3, the road was not bad at all. It was actually good. But then you could see that they started scraping off the entire road, and then they were redoing it. I'm like, whoa, what could be the reason? And then they put a sign up and say scheduled road, annual road repairs. I said, okay. So sometimes you can say the road has expired, or expiry date catch up. Expiry date catch the road. See the road for expiry date. If you catch the roads for here, expiry date, a road with an expiry date. Scheduled maintenance, I mean, or scheduled improvement. Are there bad roads here? Yes, of course, there are some places. I lived in St. Catharines before. St. Catharines had this particular street called Queenston Street. Queenston Street in St. Catharines stretches from the downtown St. Paul Street and runs all the way to the border to another place, to another town called Niagara-on-the-Lake, or another city called Niagara-on-the-Lake. And Queenston Road from the St. Catharines downtown part all the way to what? Maybe Westchester area. It was so bad. It was so bad. It was one of the worst roads. I think it was even rated as one of the worst roads in the whole of Ontario for several years in the past. But recently they fixed it brand new, so it looks really, really, really good. So there are some really bad roads here in Canada. I personally think one of the cities with some of the worst roads in Ontario, or one of the cities, will be the city of Hamilton. We just drove past Hamilton probably about 40 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. Hamilton has one of the baddest roads in their downtown parts. The mountain areas tend to be more nicer with new developments or new road networks. But the central downtown part of Hamilton, the road network is terrible. And mind you, Hamilton is an industrial, a big steel city. So it's actually called the Steel City, because they have a lot of steel industries there. But their downtown roads are just horrible. Skinny, tiny lanes, horrible, too many bumps, too many one-ways. Just pretty bad. Right now my speed is around 40 kilometers. Johnny, you want to take a nap? You don't want to take a nap? Okay. You don't want to take a nap? You want to take a nap? Yeah, you can close your eyes and take a nap, okay? You see your sister is napping? You want to sleep by me? No way. When daddy is driving, you cannot sleep on daddy, okay? Because I'm driving, okay? Okay, buddy? So what happened to the HOV lane? It ended around an exit called Ford in Oakville. So right now I'm just part of the regular traffic. I hope you enjoy the video that on the immigration changes and what you do. Yeah, so many changes, to be honest. So many changes. The Liberal Party, which is in power right now, they are trying to win back support from the Canadian citizens here. That is why they are actually implementing most of these changes, because they've come under a lot of fire or pressure or criticism for bringing in a lot of immigrants. The popular belief here is that the newcomers, the high number of newcomers, has put a lot of pressure on accommodation or housing. Not only that, on different parts of the economy, such as jobs, newcomers scrambling for jobs with Canadian citizens and permanent residents. And this has not been something that Canadians joke with, so they've pressured the government. In fact, the opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, of the Conservative Party, holds about 15 points lead over the Prime Minister Trudeau's party. If they were to hold election today, Trudeau's Liberal Party, which is in power, will lose big time. Here is a quick indicator of why I think they will lose, aside from what the opinion polls, the polls are saying. So there is a place called St. Paul. There was a riding as a constituency in the Toronto area called St. Paul. St. Paul. And I believe the Liberal Party has held that seat or dominated that seat big time for several years. They just lost that seat in a by-election. Okay, they just lost that seat. They lost that seat. For you to really understand what I'm talking about here, let me explain. Let's say that there is a part in Ghana which is predominantly known for voting for the NDC, like Ketu South or Ho, okay? Rarely will you think of Ho voting for MPP. Historically, they voted for NDC. Or NPP, strongholds like Bantama, right? Or Menchia in the Ashanti region. Rarely. It's actually odd to us to even perceive that NDC will win these areas, all right, based on electoral patterns. All right, so just imagine that Ketu South had a by-election in one of the constituencies, and then when they had a by-election, NDC lost the seat. Oh, that's probably a bad example because the ruling party in Ghana right now is the NPP, Nana Akufo-Addo government. So let's assume that a by-election was conducted in Bantama, okay, and then when they conducted a by-election, NPP lost that seat to the NDC. How big is that a news? It's big, isn't it? Because nobody expects NPP to lose Bantama, but then they've lost in a by-election to the NDC. That is just to tell you that the election coming up, NPP should be worried. Not only that, there are other places. There are other places that they've lost seat too. I think there was a by-election in Quebec that they normally would have won, but they lost that seat. Right? Then there was one in Manitoba. I'm not too sure what the data there is, but you see, areas that the Conservatives the Liberal Party will safely win the seats, they have lost these seats in by-elections. Right? This is just to tell you that Canadians are really, really fed up with them. So that's the first one. Number two, the Liberal Party, which is in power, does not have the majority in Parliament. They could not amass the numbers to control or to have majority in Parliament. So what they had to do was to enter into a coalition or an agreement with smaller political parties so that they can be able to get the numbers to be able to pass their bills and make decisions in Parliament, right? Now, the party they went into an alliance with, the small party they went into an alliance with, is a small opposition party called the NDP, which is led by the Canadian of Indian descent or Punjabi descent, Jagmeet Singh, okay? He's a leader of the NDP. So NDP formed an alliance with the Liberal Party to help prop them up in Parliament so they can be able to pass their bill because they don't have the majority. And that is what has been sustaining Trudeau's party in power for a long while. Now, about 3 weeks ago, the NDP decided that they will no longer honor that agreement they have with them. They are pulling out of the agreement. What that means is that Trudeau will not have the right numbers to be able to command or pass bills, important bills. All right. Now, there is also another small party, but very significant in Parliament, in Canada, that can also hurt the Liberal Party, even though they don't have they are not the biggest in opposition. They are called Bloc Québécois, which is a party mostly aligned with the province of Quebec. They have advocated for separation of Quebec from Canada for a long time, and they are very active in politics here. They also have some seats. Now, even though the NDP has pulled out of the agreement with Justin Trudeau's party, which leaves Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party very exposed now when it comes to passing bills, it is also expected that the NDP may still vote for Liberals in Parliament just because they are not trustworthy, according to many Canadians, right? The NDP, even though they've pulled out, they still will pretend and go and vote for them, blah, 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 what have you. However, the biggest challenge Quebec is having right now is from the Quebec Bloc Québécois. They have threatened that as early as next week, they may force an early election, what we call a snap election. Remember, Canada is supposed to go to the polls or vote in October next year. That's when our election is supposed to be. But we can also call an early election if the ruling party loses control in Parliament and becomes very unpopular, which is what the situation is right now. So potentially, it could even be that next week, Bloc Quebec may decide to initiate a vote of no confidence, which will easily be supported by the biggest opposition party called the Conservative Party. And if the NDP decides not to support Trudeau, who knows, we could be heading for an early election as early as this December. You see that? I'm just giving you a bit of Canadian politics here so that you know how the immigration policies have impacted the election. Canada has brought in a lot of immigrants. To be honest with you, I came here as an immigrant. So I am immigration friendly because that is how I came into the country, even though I came legally, right? Through the study route. And I've done videos, I keep making videos on immigration. But there is something that in the last 2 weeks I discovered. And I gotta be honest with you, I did not know this all this while. There was a trend or a historical pattern that I uncovered just about two weeks ago. How did I uncover it? It was actually through the video I did on about 16,000 visitor visa holders who were returned to their home countries from the airports here in Canada. Remember that video? That video trended so well on my YouTube channel. But there was something unique that I saw. Under that video, it garnered over 1,000 plus comments. And surprisingly, about 90-something% of the comments are coming from Canadians themselves. White Canadians, immigrant Canadians, name them. And it was an expression of anger. People were actually happy. Like, they were really happy that 16,000 visitor visa holders were returned to their home countries from the Canadian airport here. And I was a little bit surprised because at the time I did the video, I was just surprised that Canada's immigration will issue visitor visa and then in turn return the people to their home countries after they arrive. Okay, let me make it this simple. So I issue a visa to you. I approve your visa to come and visit Canada, okay? And then you buy your ticket. And then you land in Canada as a visitor. But at the airport, I decide to return you home. Especially not because you've committed a crime or something, just because gut feeling wise, the border control officer decide that they don't deem you worthy enough to enter into Canada. I was a little bit surprised. The number was very alarming. 16,000 people in a month. If you didn't watch that video, get the summary here. 16,000 temporary residents who came on visitors visa were returned back home. And that is the highest we've seen in a very, very long. I think that's the highest, if I'm not mistaken. So I was kind of expecting people to be asking the question of why is Canada border or immigration services doing that? Instead, I saw comments from Canadians, like native Canadian citizens, who were just angry and, okay, you can say they were really happy that immigrants were being returned home. So I took time and I read and I realized that, man, the guys were making sense. People were expressing their anger about Canada's immigration, how so many illegals have been allowed into the country, putting pressure on the system, how asylum seekers were gaming the system and taxpayers' money is being used to finance them, and so many, how it has affected the housing crisis. And by the way, I'm also a Canadian, but I must be honest with you, there was certain information that I read from people under that video that I didn't know about the dynamics of Canada, okay? So what I did was to take a bit of time to go and research into some of the comments that people wrote under that video. I took a bit of time to research to see whether it was baseless sentimental opinions from people or it was grounded in fact. And ladies and gentlemen watching me, fellow Africans or future immigrants watching me, I am sorry to tell you that the comments of majority of the Canadians were true, or they are true. What do you mean? It simply means, yes, I think, okay, from my research, that the Liberal Party has a habit of not just bringing in so many legal immigrants, but then the Liberal Party also has a history of bringing in so many illegal migrants. I know, remember there are different kinds of migrants. There are legal migrants, those who apply for visas, submit documents, are vetted, have been okayed, come into the country, come in steady, come as an express entry person on PR or permanent residence, come as a worker and come and work. These are the ones we call legal migrants, okay? Or maybe you have a spouse here, you reunited with your spouse and moved to Canada. We call them the legal. I came here legally as a student, so legal migrant. But then there is also another aspect that I normally don't do videos on. And that aspect is what we call the illegal migrant side of the immigration. That is when people exploit loopholes to enter Canada illegally, okay? Now, why are there those loopholes in the first place? Well, so here is a theory, and this is politics, by the way. You may not agree with it. Go look at the data yourself. The politics here is that liberal parties have a habit. Let me say it, uncomfortable truth, but let me say it. Liberal parties, not just in Canada, people, not just in Canada, in the Western countries, all across the Northern Hemisphere, liberal parties or liberal democratic parties that tend to be in power have a habit of undermining the immigration system by creating incentives that bring in illegal immigrants. Not in small numbers, but in ridiculously unprecedented numbers. Now, what this does is that it overwhelms the system eventually. And when it overwhelms the system eventually, then in the Canadian or the citizens of these countries that the illegal migrants are going to begin to flare up because their jobs are being taken away from them. They are working so hard, they are being charged crazy taxes as working class or middle class people, yet these monies are being given to illegal immigrants. You see that? Now, maybe for me to demonstrate this a little bit, let me go to our neighbors here in North America called the United States. Now, within the last 3.5 years alone, it is estimated that the US has brought in at least 10 to 11 million illegal migrants into the country. If you did watch the debate between J.D. Vance and Governor Watts, you may have heard that in the debate, right? And why is that the case? Well, because liberal parties tend to relax the border control policies or laws a bit, or immigration laws. They make it very weak, which makes it easy for anybody to just cross over. You know what I mean? Just remember, from 2017, we had a record number of people walking and crossing Canadian borders from the US into Canada by foot. Now, at the time, I didn't even understand a lot of things, but now it makes more sense now. Record number of people, like on a daily basis, you have thousands of illegal people just crossing the border. Why? Because these political parties that are more leftist, when they come, they kind of put in all kinds of policies that undermine the immigration system. For example, a policy that says that if an illegal immigrant is crossing and coming in, even if you don't have the right immigration documents, just let them in. You know what I mean? As much as it could be a good thing for some folks, when you allow the wrong people into the country, like the bad guys, you know what I mean? Watch the US news, you hear what I'm talking about. The bad guys, the guys who are part of the gangs, the guys who come in and all kinds of things happen. You know what I mean? When these guys come in numbers, what happens? They begin to torment, right? Civilians in these countries that they are coming to, in their new countries that they are coming to as aliens, and it creates all kinds of tension. Now, I'm not trying to make a case that Canada does not like immigrants. If anybody knows the history of Canada, you know that this country has largely relied on immigration for the most part of its history. As far back as the 16th, 17th century, thereabout, where Europeans, the French, the Brits started coming in, and different people. Then we had the Asian immigration too, where we had people from Japan or other Asian countries. Then we had the Indian immigration wave, where Indians also started moving in a lot into Europe and North America. So this country has, then recently we have a lot more African countries also coming in, right? And Filipino countries and stuff. So legal immigration is part of every northern hemisphere country. You go to UK, they bring in immigrants. You go to Germany, they bring in immigrants. But But the key difference here is that legal migration versus illegal migration. All right, I think the illegal migration that overwhelms the system is what is happening in Spain, where people use the boats and stuff and get in there. As much as it could be good for you because you are taking advantage and coming in, it undermines the systems, you know what I mean, and creates all kinds of social welfare problems for them. Johnny, what is it? You tired? What do you want? You want to watch? Okay, we're almost at the airport when we get it, okay? Okay, we're almost there, okay? All right, so guys, that is the illegal aspect that is overwhelming. When I say, you see, it used to be that a small number of people were coming in illegally, but when you have it overwhelming, like when it's overwhelming, like an exodus, like, you know what I mean? It any country will flare up. All right, for you to really understand what I'm saying, think of it like this. Think of it like a country called South Africa, which decides which has a party coming into power, let's say the ANC, and then the ANC decides that they are not going to enforce border control laws. They will relax them. Anybody can come in. So we have people from all over Africa just flying into South Africa like that. You see, for these people, they're happy. But for the host country, you see the airplane, yay, that's right, that's it. But for South Africans, they are going to flare up because not only are there a lot more people coming, there will be pressure on all the amenities, isn't it? That's it. Think of it like Ghana, that our borders are so poor. Let's assume that our borders are unprotected and we have just people pouring in from northern part of Ghana, maybe Burkina Faso, Mali, in numbers, not hundreds, not 1,000, like several thousands running to millions, right? Pouring in. And not only from the north, you have people from maybe the east coming in. Obviously, Ghanaians are not going to be happy. They're going to complain, isn't it? Now, even in my own country, Ghana, we have this tension between Ghana and Nigeria, where we complain about the number of Nigerians who are in Ghana. Just like you go to South Africa and some South Africans who complain about the number of immigrants who are there. So I think there is a balance between what is a reasonable immigration level and what is an unreasonable immigration level. Guys, no need for us to twist things around. The Liberal parties, not just in Canada, but the entirety of the Western countries, have this single playbook. What do you mean by playbook? It's as if they have a political ideology that when they come in, they just will open up the border, not controlled, bringing in people, uncontrolled, people that they cannot handle, the system cannot handle, overwhelm them. And then they try to play the good guys. Yes, you see another airplane, right? The white and blue. That's good. That is Air Transat. Yeah, my son is seeing the airplane. We are by the airport, by the way. We are literally less than 5 minutes away from entering the airport. All right. So that is it. And then how do the Liberals go about this? When they allow all these people to come in illegally, they create a pathway for them to get their papers. All right. Check all the Western countries. You notice all the Liberal parties that are in power are not just bringing record high number of immigrants into the country. Are not just allowing record high number of illegal immigrants into the country. You can also tell that they tend to use taxpayers' money or taxes to finance them. Okay, I am not a fan of that. I'm against this, to be honest with you. If anybody does this to my country, Ghana, my home country, I will not be happy about it. And I don't think if anybody does it to your own home country as well, it will be fair, isn't it? Where monies that are supposed to go to the citizens are given to people who came in illegally, and then we ignore the citizens who pay the taxes to build the economy. It will always create tension and a backlash. So guys, I'm just trying to give you an idea of what is accounting for the changes we are seeing in immigration policy now. Okay, now look at the United States. In the last 3.5 years, illegal immigrants alone, not legal migrants who went to US embassy and got visa, illegal ones alone, who came into the US, over 10 million. Over 10 million. What is the population of the US? So within a space of 3.5 years, illegal, not legal migrants, or not those who applied and interviewed for a US visa at the US consulate, over 10 million. This is even underestimated, because it's actually over 10 million. And then when these people come, they are given free accommodation, free hotels, free monies. They even give them in the US. The US, their own, doesn't even make any sense at all. Do you know in the US, they actually give them monies in place in some states, they give them about $15,000 or load it on a credit card or something like that for them, right? And basically free money. And some states are actually even giving the illegal, undocumented people monies or qualifying them to go for mortgages. Ooh, okay, Terminal 3. Okay, I think that's it. I wanted to be sure I didn't miss the terminal. There was Terminal 1 on the right, and then there is Terminal 3. I want to make sure I'm not missing it. If I miss it, I'll just end up driving it. Sometimes when I'm talking and I get passionate, I could. Anyway. All right, so look at it. Illegal immigrants entering the US. I give you how much? $15,000 on card. Citizens are not getting that. They are getting free accommodation. Citizens are not getting that. Citizens are working so hard to pay their bills, especially at the time when gas prices have gone up. Everything has gone up. Citizens are not getting any of that. They are getting a bad deal. Okay? And then not only that, housing becomes unaffordable because the average citizen or permanent resident is not able to buy a house. Why? Record number of people putting pressure on the accommodation or housing. So the prices of, demand and supply, the prices go up. So now the prices have gone up. The citizens or the locals cannot afford to buy because there is just too many people that the system can handle. And then not only that, these new illegal migrants who have come in, they need to be taken care of. They need to make a living. So therefore, the government gives them papers to work. As you can see, asylum seekers almost in all these countries are giving work permit immediately. Sometime within the first 1 month or so, they are giving work permit, even before a decision is made to start working. Now, to these asylum seekers, it's a win for them. They are happy. But for the host country, it hurts the economy in many ways. It hurts the job market. It hurts different aspects of the economy. Do you see that? Remember, we are talking about uncontrolled illegal immigration. Uncontrolled, that's a key word. We're not talking about just a small size of refugees from Afghanistan or whatever. We are talking about a higher number that the system cannot even handle. And all this is happening when Liberal parties are in power. In Canada, just go back from 2015, when the Trudeau government took over, it's just been a flight. If not for COVID, COVID actually saved Canada from the immigration numbers. Because without COVID, the numbers would have actually been uncontrollable, way beyond. COVID came in for 2 years and slowed down our immigration. But then right after that, then boom, they ballooned it. And the US is the senior most of all the countries who are doing this. When I say US, I'm not talking about the US as a country. I'm talking about the liberal Democrats in the US, the left parties. Look at them. They don't believe in protecting the borders. They don't believe in walls. They just believe in everybody pouring in. The gangsters, the criminals, everybody coming in. Just go look at it. And if you are a US citizen, will you be happy? You will not be. Will you be happy? You will not be, isn't it? People should come into the country by legal way. It's just what it is. I will never support this any day. I will never support this. Forget about me being an African. I don't support nonsense. Do you see that? Then you go to UK, same thing. Look at UK. Look at the party that is in power right now. The Labour Party. Look at their policies. Same thing. All right? They will do everything to undermine immigration. They will give all the incentives to allow people to cross in illegally, hide in all kinds of things and come in. No problem. And these people, when they come in, sometimes we don't end up getting the good. We get the bad. The people with the bad habit, the people with the bad profiles or criminals coming in, and then they cause all kind of problem for the few good ones there. Look at Spain. Right? Look at Germany. When the leftists are in power, look at what happens. They run down immigration. Immigration is not brought at a stable level. What stable means, we bring in the number of people that our economy needs. They just balloon it out of control. That is the situation with Canada right now. So just a little bit back, you will notice about 2 years ago, this Liberal Party, which is in power, set an ambitious target that they want to bring in our 1.6 or 8 million permanent residents within a space of 3-4 years. Unreasonable. Never has this been done in the history of Canada. Right? And the argument they use is that they want to do post-COVID rebuild, which sounds really good, isn't it? Right. But for Canadians, They don't see it like that. Canadians don't think that Canada lacks labor. Canadians actually don't think like that. Do you know what Canadians think? Canadians think that there are a lot of Canadians who are willing to work. However, the Liberal parties here is in bed, or you can say liberal corporate politics, with corporations that will decide not to pay citizens here their due wages. So wages are not going up that much. Inflation is all over the place, and people cannot afford to use their salaries to take care of themselves. And so one of the ways that companies will try to shortchange the Canadians here is to bring in cheap labor, cheap foreign labor that can take minimum wage. You know what I mean? Because if you bring somebody from Africa or India on a minimum wage, they will take it, isn't it? Because it's better than what we have back home. But again, when you do that, as much as it's good for one side, it hurts the host country, the people. So therefore, you get the citizens of your country getting so angry, and then they decide that they're going to show you the button power of the thumb by voting you out. Simple as that. Look at what is happening in the US. Yet the US is actually out of control. The candidate for the Democrats for the election, Kamala Harris, just has this stubborn philosophy of just bringing in all kinds of undocumented illegal immigrants. Again, I want to be clear, people understand what I'm saying. I am not talking about legal migrants who go through the process of applying for visa, submitting documents and being vetted, going for an interview. We are talking about illegal immigrants, those who are hiding in cars, those who are running through the borders, those who are beating border control officers and harming people just to get in. No country should support this. It's ridiculous. It's nonsense. I don't support nonsense on my platform. I don't support nonsense on my platform. I don't use my platform to advocate for nonsense. It doesn't. If this happens to my original country called Ghana, I will be against it any day. It doesn't matter which party. It's nonsense. You cannot create an imbalance of the system by destroying the system with foreigners. You create more tension between people, and that is what it is. You see why Donald Trump is more popular in the US? Because he's the only person, or his party is probably the only party advocating for safe, stable, sensible immigration. Immigration that is based on need. Do you see that? Okay, what about Canada? Donald Trump's party is the Republican, isn't it? And they are the conservatives in the US. They are the guys who say, let's stabilize things, get things at a normal level, okay? Under control. Now come to Canada. The conservatives in Canada are led by Pierre Poilievre. They are the ones who are also leading the polls right now by 15 points. If election is held today, they win. Then you go to what? Germany. The Germans, theirs is a little bit more. You can also see that parties that normally don't. Wow. And guys, by the way, in the last 16 years in the US, 12 out of the last 16 years has been dominated by liberals. Obama had 8 years of that. Biden has had 4 years, almost 4 years now. The only time the conservatives came in was 4 years of Donald Trump. What about Canada? I came to Canada in 2014. We are in 2024 now, so 10 years. The Liberals took over in 2015, so 9 years of Liberal government. You can see how close it is to the US too. 9 years of Liberals destroying Canada's immigration. Then you go to the UK. You can also see the history there with the UK too, right? When the Labour parties are there, you see what they do. So look all over. That is why you are seeing a lot of tension, my people. Look across Europe, you are seeing the tension. Look at France. When Macron, who is supposed to be more centrist, more balanced, you can see Macron's policies far more leftist, you know, aligning with the leftist party. They did everything to undermine Marine Le Pen. They are trying to actually jail her right now by charging her. You know what I mean? Now, there are aspects of the policies of the conservatives that are very controversial, like their policies on certain people from certain parts of, for example, Donald Trump's famous statement on people from countries that are something whole. I won't say it here, you know it. There are controversial aspects that I am not a fan of, but I am just a fan of stable immigration. When I came in 2014, things were not like this. I actually came to Canada under the Conservative Party of Prime Minister Harper, right? Harper was in power at the time I came. And things were stable. Things were not that bad. Even at that time, it wasn't easy. To find a job was not even easy. So now that we have actually brought in a whole number, guys, for you to really understand what I'm saying, talk to, if you know somebody who is an asylum seeker, a newcomer, talk to them. Majority of them will tell you that they have work permit, but they cannot find jobs. Majority will tell you they have work permit, but they cannot find jobs. Do you know how many asylum seekers have work permit, but they cannot find jobs? Majority. So they are just sleeping in hotels, 5-star hotels, 4-star hotels. On monthly or weekly basis, the government of Canada's money, $10 million are used to pay for these hotels because there is no accommodation for them. So government has to put them in 5-star hotels. Why 5-star? Because those are the ones that are available most of the time in winter. Especially when there's illegal immigrants come in or asylum seekers come in and it's cold, where will you put them? Except these 5-star hotels that are so expensive. Some of them $500 per night or $300-400. Just imagine paying this for several hundreds of thousands of people with taxpayers' money. Which sane country? Do you remember the video I posted of a family from Asia, Middle East, that was complaining about how much money they were giving as asylum seekers who were staying in a hotel or so? The guy was complaining that they were being given, as a family of 3 or 4, husband, wife, and 2 kids, that the government of Canada was giving them about $1,700 a month as asylum seekers. Dude, I was so angry when I saw that video. They are giving you free accommodation in a hotel. They are feeding you for free. You said you are seeking asylum. They haven't even made a decision on your asylum case yet. And you and your family, or you, your wife, and your 2 kids, you are being given an additional pocket money of about $1,700, and you have the guts to complain. How do you think Canadians are going to feel? How do you think the senior, who means somebody who is in retirement or an elderly person, who has work and pay taxes all their life in Canada, is not getting this free money from their own government? Citizens here are not getting these free monies every month. Citizens here, especially at a time when homeless crisis is also at its peak here in Canada, there are several people who don't have a place to even lay their head, especially those who have mental health issues, those who for some reason just cannot, are having all kinds of problems, personal problems, and need the welfare from government. These people are not getting it. All the monies are going to illegal immigrants, right? And then you go to the US, they are using buses to actually bus illegal immigrants from one state to the other, putting them and dumping them around. And not only that, there is a reason why the liberals just love immigration. Sorry, when I say immigration, there is a reason why liberal democratic political parties love illegal immigration. Do you know why? Because that is how they actually end up winning elections. Let me give you an example. In the US, guys, forget about being sensitive about what I'm talking. I want you to just ask yourself whether this is normal. Do you know, guys, US is the only democratic country in the world that does not require a proof of citizenship before you vote in an election. Let me say that again. Elections are held in democratic countries, and the people who participate in elections by voting are the citizens. Do you know that the United States is the only democratic country in the world that does not put a burden on you as a voter to prove that you are a citizen? In other words, almost anybody in the US can vote regardless of whether they are citizens or not. But wait a minute, how does this make sense? In the US, once you have your social security number, all right, social security number, social, you can easily use that to acquire a driver's license. And in most states in the US, with just your social security number and your driver's license, you can actually get, what is the name? You can actually register for voting. So here is the thing. The Liberal Democratic Party, or the Democrats in the US, Biden, Obama, Kamala, Harris, they have done everything to prevent the requirement of citizenship verification before people vote. They have a bill called the SAVE Act. They have an act called the SAVE Act, which is basically requiring that we must verify your citizenship before allowing you to vote. This Democratic Party said no. They have fought it, they have challenged it, they have used the legal system to challenge this and make sure that this is not required. Okay, for you to understand, think of Nigeria. That in Nigeria, your government in Nigeria is saying that for you to vote in Nigeria election, you don't need to prove that you're a Nigerian citizen. How does that make sense? It's stupid, it's demonic, it's pure evil. But that's what they are doing in the US. Which people are doing it? The Democrats. Why? Because they know they can bring in illegal immigrants in numbers, in millions, over 10 million, fast track their social security process, give them free money, promise them housing, promise them welfare, distribute them across states that are dominated by Republicans, and then use that to kind of turn those things into a Democrat state. They did that in California. Do you know until late 1980s and early 90s, California was never a Democrat state. It was a largely Republican state. How did they end up turning it? The same thing they did. Illegal immigrants push into that area. They do. That's what they are doing to New York right now. Look at New York. When you go to New York, almost everywhere you pass, illegal immigrants, some of them criminal record all over the place. And these people are all going to be voting, even though they are not even green card holders. They are all. And then later on, they are going to grant all of them amnesty, fast track them, and then boom, they get citizenship. What kind of nonsense is this? Tell me, what kind of nonsense is this? And yet, this is the country that prides itself as the leader of the Western democracy in the world. Why are they against citizenship verification during voting? Now, for those of you who don't understand where I'm coming from, remember I said it took me just some few weeks ago to learn all of this, to look into this on a deeper level. Just Google California's voter ID law. 3 days ago. Yeah, guys? 3 days ago, the state of California passed a law preventing anybody. I'm picking up somebody. I need to pull over.
Sorry?
I'm picking up somebody. I need to pull over.
But here is no space, brother.
But if I go ahead, I'm going to have to get out. So I have to wait
You're outside?
Yeah, the person is outside. I'm going to call the person right now, okay? Sorry. Good. All right, guys, give me 1 second here to call the person that I'm picking up. It doesn't make any sense, guys. No matter how you explain it, it will never make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. So the US state, the state in US called California, right? Do you know their governor? Their governor actually passed a law 3 days ago preventing or making it illegal to demand a proof of citizenship of somebody before they vote. Guys, if you don't believe me, I want you to just go online and Google it. Go online and Google California's new law on voter ID and see. How much does it make any sense? Isn't it this demonic? Isn't this an agenda? Let me call. Okay. No, it doesn't make any sense. Me pacho mabiduo. Me wa number 28. And to go by between 28 and 30 crime to me pick up me wa number 28 and 27 in him. Now what number bench here? Any my memory ni me what 34 anyway ni my memory ni kakara. I am just about 20 meters away from maybe or 28 into Opera. So never the doors one with the Brabe Gina or maybe a car snap packet. Wow, the airport. So guys, we are at the airport, the place is so busy. Oh the maybe just a minimum crab park, the airport is so busy. I mean your space is crampy. So the also on number 34 and 32. And to Ujuna me train, okay. Maybe before see why. Yeah. Me that's it. Good. Thank you. So guys, unfortunately that is a reality, okay? That's a reality. Why? Because they are going to rely on these illegal immigrants to turn the outcome of the election. Simple as that. You can choose to be a Democrat who disagrees with me, at least disagree by just telling me that what I'm saying is not true. Does it make any sense that the United States does not have a requirement for people to prove their citizenship before voting? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And they've done everything. And look at it. This is one of the countries where you can do early voting and mail-in voting. Okay, early voting is not even unique. Mail-in voting. Most of these illegal immigrants will be made to vote by mailing their vote. They won't even show up in person because they're illegals. Then you see the numbers just crazily. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. It doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense at all. All right, guys. I am here. Can you guess who I'm picking? Look at the person in the white. 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 Who is that? Me new banana make a video. A bag back up back up any but my mean be trunk and everything show. Why? But you'll be a trunk, mamma. So I guess you have seen the person now, right? Yeah, welcome.
Oh, wow.
Where the minister come back door? My mimi will be na.
Oh, yeah, coffee.
Me the snack be buying. My mimi man. Where show? Me the drinks also buy you. Oh, aquaba. Guys, the airport is so busy today. I think it was because your man is in town. Your man is in town.
Oh, wow.
Coffee. The airport is busy. You know the man here? If you know his name, put it there. If you don't know his name, you're a stranger.
Somebody saying that today is the year no more came together.
Somebody said most likely that was Yaya. He has the same date. He came the same date last year to visit. He's here to visit my family. So yeah, he'll be with us for at least a month. You're going to see him in Canada for at least a month or two. Maybe we might even let him stay. But you see, he's not an illegal immigrant. No, be so. The man, he get visa, he buy a ticket, he come, stay safe, he go back. You see what I mean? So these are the ones where if you come, and get issue. But the illegal ones, no, where be say them way them afford where they come. But the government way they make them, it be them way they create all the problems give all the other countries too. You see what I mean? But again, guys, I want you to understand that it is not like these illegal immigrants just choose to just get up. Remember, they choose to only come in when certain parties are in power. In other words, if the Democrats are in power, you see the illegal migrants just coming in. If the Democrats are not in power, you won't see them coming in that number, isn't it? Why? Because they know which parties harbor them and tolerate. Do you understand what I mean? And they know which parties allow them to also do their things. You know what I mean? It is. For the US, purely, the Democrats rely on these illegal immigrants to do their stuff. You know what I mean? They do their stuff with it. On a normal day, the Democrats will not be able to win election. On a normal day, they won't be able to win election. So they have to use all this. You know what I mean? They have to use all this to win election and to get things done. Yeah, this is not a topic I normally talk about, but when I did my research and I found out, look at it. In the US, they are actually attacking the First Amendment. If you're a little bit familiar with the First Amendment, you know what I'm talking about. The First Amendment is actually the bedrock of democracy in the US, right? Which is free speech. Look at it right now. They're attacking it. You can't even express. In fact, this very thing I'm talking about right now, it may even have consequences. Just because we are talking, and you look at Canada. Canada is doing the same thing. Under the Liberal Party now, we've almost lost our free speech. Under the Liberal Party, we've almost lost our free speech. You can't even speak your mind anymore, right? So you look at it. Not only are it's a big threat. In my opinion, it's just a big threat to democracy. It's just a big threat to democracy, and all Liberal parties in the Western world, they are just the same. They're just the same. Manipulate the system and undermine the system. Yeah. Do your research. You'll come to appreciate what I'm talking about. Okay. okay? Yeah. You appreciate it. Now, I just need somebody to tell me why on earth does the United States fight against the requirement of proof of citizenship before people can vote? Does it make any sense? It doesn't. Because my own country, Ghana, which is a very incipient democracy, or a democracy that is less than how many years? We are not even up to 30 years of democracy. We will require an ID before you vote. A non-Ghanaian cannot come into Ghana and vote. If you are found out, you'll be jailed. So why in the US would you encourage this? That you fight? It just doesn't make any sense. It does. I said, look, guys, if you don't believe it, just Google the Safe Act. If you don't believe it, just Google California's new law on voter ID. Their governor actually passed a law and made it illegal for you to demand an ID of somebody. They will tell you that when you do that, you are undermining people. You are making it difficult for people to participate in voting, blah, 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 blah. You are wiping away a large number of people who will not be. So is it too difficult to ask somebody to prove their citizenship? It shouldn't be, isn't it? Okay. However, look at it. Look at the weird part. Do you know that when the Democrats were doing their national convention, the DNC,